Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
Welcome back to the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. It is Memorial Day, Monday, May 26th. This is episode 199. 200 coming up on Thursday. Chuck McGinnick, Don Harris, back in the United States.
200 coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, 200. 200 of these suckers. How was your vacation, Don?
Oh, muy bien. It was so good.
What'd you do? Anything fun?
My wife and I went to one of our favorite places, Playa Mujeres, Mexico, and did nothing. Every day was the same. It was a little treadmill workout, a little breakfast, to the beach and the pool and the bar, and then a nap, and then dinner.
The bar.
Hey, I have a revelation. This may be nothing new for you experts, but I'm not a huge drinker. But if you're a margarita person, I discovered, thanks to a buddy that I met while I was at this resort, the Grand Marnier floater on a rocks margarita is a game changer.
Cadillac margarita.
Whatever you want to call it.
That's what it is. It's called the Cadillac margarita.
Okay.
Because you put Grand Marnier instead of triple sec, which is just like the higher form of orange liqueur.
It was both.
Yeah.
I think the little floater on top of the Grand Marnier. Whew. Game changer.
That's what my grandma drinks. Whenever she has a margarita, she only gets it with Grand Marnier. That's how she likes to drink them.
It was good.
Every time I hear Grand Marnier, I think of Tim Hardaway. Elimination game. They got eliminated. He goes to the podium. Somebody said, "What are you going to do this offseason?" He goes, "What am I going to do? I'm going to grab a bottle of Grand Marnier and chill the F out." All time.
That's odd for someone to just drink straight Grand Marnier, though. Usually that's a mixer.
I did just that.
Did you?
But he who hasn't cast the first stone there, Matthew.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. But anyway, subscribe to the YouTube channel, both News 4 Fox SA. Download, rate, review the podcast version wherever you get your podcast. Today is Memorial Day. I know your father is a veteran. You guys want to give any shout outs or any stories Memorial Day?
Just thank yous. Just thank yous to all who served and lost their lives. And to all their families, thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about this today because, just everything comes back, right? It's what you're supposed to do, right? Memorial Day, start remembering things. And, it's just really, really cool to be able to pick up the phone, call your dad. Of course, he's not in, but leave him a little message and just, thank him for everything that he did for not only our family, but for the country as well and his buddies. And then, we ran into Robert Erfurt, a World War II veteran this week. And same thing, right? It all becomes more clear what these guys did, and ladies too, in a time of crisis, in a time of need, in a time when, there are a lot of things in flux. And it's also a good time to reflect. There are a lot of these heroes doing stuff today. You have no idea what they're doing, all for the good of the country. And so shout out to a lot of people today too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much to all the service men and women out there who've paid the ultimate sacrifice to keep the flag flying for us. So,
amen.
We'll talk all about the Memorial Day miracle today. 26 years ago, technically on Saturday, the 31st, will be the Memorial Day miracle when Sean Elliott broke the hearts of Blazers fans everywhere in the Alamo Dome in 1999. We'll talk about that, plus NBA free agency. Going to take a little bit of an advanced look at NBA free agency, which guys would look good in the silver and black.
All of them.
And last but not least, Pro Football Focus ranked the NFL quarterbacks from 1 to 32, and Dak Prescott was not in the top half. He was number 17 on that list. So we'll talk about that here as well. But I want to start with the Memorial Day miracle. Sean Elliott made the shot heard around San Antonio that almost blew the top off the Alamo Dome 26 years ago this week. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals in 1999 against the Portland Trail Blazers in the Alamo Dome. Spurs trailed by as many as 18 points that night. They went on to sweep the Blazers after that win. They ended up winning the title that year. Elliott was also playing through his focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. I'm going to I butchered the word, so sorry. But he was playing through his kidney issues. Don, take me through. What do you remember most about that day, that game?
I remember it was an NBC game. It was an afternoon game. I was sitting courtside back when they used to let media have good seats on press row.
Yeah, now they're more expensive.
Yeah. Sean was across to my left when he took the shot. The Spurs bench was to my right in front of me. It was an afternoon game, 2:30 game on NBC. And I just remembered that they were always behind. They could not get over the hump. And they would go on runs, and they would cut that 18 down to 8, and then it would go back to 12. And then they'd cut it down to 6 or 4, and then it would go back to 10 or 12. And it was just like nothing was going to get them the lead. That 3 was the first time they led. And I believe there were like 5 seconds left because Portland did get a look at the end.
Yeah, I think it was about 8 seconds.
But I think it was Sean's 7th 3 of the game that he made.
Well, didn't he hit
He
one?
was red hot.
He hit one. It was like 78-84, and he hit another 3 to bring it to like a 3-point game.
Yeah, he was red hot. I don't know that he missed from 3 that entire game. He said during warm-ups he takes 25 threes, and he made 23 of the 25, and the other 2 were in and out, so he knew he was hot. But I just remember the noise level. It was crazy. And my biggest takeaway, and I've told this story before, is after the game, we ran onto the court, which Tom James didn't want us to do, but we wanted to grab.
So your WOAI media doesn't sit courtside anymore.
Maybe. We wanted to grab Sean, and he was doing Ahmad Rashad on the corner of the court. And so we were waiting off camera on NBC, but I was this close to Sean. I mean, I was just me to Javi. And the one thing I never forget is every hair on his arms and back were on end like he had been.
Goosebumps?
Huh? Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Total goosebumps.
Wow.
On his back, shoulders, and arms, and raised hair like static electricity. And I was just thinking, as I was looking at him, waiting for him to finish that interview, going, that's pretty cool. Even the pros get goosebumps with something like that.
That is. Wow, what a great observation.
Didn't he get the game-winning block, too, like on the last possession of that game?
I don't remember.
I think he was him and David were defending the guy who was trying.
Damon Stoudemire, I think, took the last shot.
Damon Stoudemire. I think Sean was the primary defender, and then I was watching the highlights a little earlier. It's the only reason I know. And David came over. Robinson came over, put his arms up, and so Damon Stoudemire tried to get around him, and I think Sean got the game-winning block as well. But what do you remember from that day?
So I remember I might have been the only person in town not at that game. I was holding down the fort here at work because I was going to travel to Portland, and so everybody else wanted to go to the game since I was going to hog the road trip. And I remember hooting and hollering and screaming and then thinking to myself, this is stupid. If the tree falls in the forest, there's really nobody here to hear this. So, I mean, I had this elation, obviously, because, Don and I kind of grew up with Sean as he was coming in. We were kind of coming in. And, that guy, probably more than anybody else on the team at the time, we were probably closer to than anybody else. So to have him have that moment, and then, just even talking about last night with Zach, he's like, he had 6 threes in that game. I don't remember that. I just remember that shot. And then also in real time thinking, what a stupid shot, right? Like, how can you do this? And then having the joy of going the next day at practice, because I wanted to kind of, torque him a little bit just in fun, and said to him straight to his face, dude, did you need 2 ball boys to carry off your, what, when you were walking off the court after that game? And he looked me dead in the eye. There wasn't a smile on his face. He goes, I just knew that there was nothing that was going to stop the ball from going in if it left my hand. There was not a shred of doubt. And obviously you could tell, we've looked at that shot a gazillion times, right? The fact that he's living in some sort of ontological universe with where his feet were and where his heels were in proportion to the out of bounds. And, you could go on. And I'm getting
Rashid
chills just
missing
thinking
by
about
that
it.
much.
Yes, and then how that almost was like visual proof for a city, for a team, for a franchise that, holy cow, these dudes might be good enough to win a championship when you win a game like that. And, of course, they went and did that.
Don got an interview with Sean 6 years ago. That's what this bite's from on the 20th anniversary of the shot. So let's hear from Sean real quick.
I don't know if that shot will ever die. I mean, I'm at a gas station, I'm at the grocery store. I think I've met everybody that was in the arena that day, plus some. But I hear stories everywhere. I hear people that were at a bar in an airport. They were driving and they couldn't see the game, so they had it on the radio. You know, people that were in their living room, they're with their dad or their mom, or, you know, those kind of stories. And so those never get old.
Yeah, definitely never get old.
It was game 2 of a Western Conference Finals, and with all 5 championships, I think that it's the biggest play in Spurs history, more memorable than just about any finals play.
That was going to be my next question. Is that the biggest shot in Spurs history?
Well,
I think situationally it's not like the biggest moment, right? They were already up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, Avery had a big one to clinch a finals.
Right.
But Tim's shot before .4, Tim's shot over Shaq. If .4 doesn't happen, that's
Javi, the Laker fan over
that's
here.
the greatest shot in Spurs history if .4 doesn't happen. But because .4 happens, it's largely forgotten about.
I would have to say Sean's shot, to me, probably.
Yeah.
Because of what hadn't happened here and then what came after that.
Yeah, I was going to say, does that kind of propel the Spurs forward? Like, if that shot doesn't happen, there's no way to know this, but if that shot doesn't happen, if they lose that game and they don't go on to win the championship, like, it could have changed a lot of things in history,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like,
it's a totally different series. If it's 1-1 going back to Portland, and those games were contested there too, that was a damn good Portland team. You know, the Spurs knocked off a lot of really good teams, and, I mean, that was one hell of a run. You know, you look at history and you think about what could have been for Portland if that shot doesn't go in. I mean, that's one of the greatest postseason runs in history, that 99 run by the Spurs, what they were able to do. They lost their first game and then won, I don't know how many in a row, but it was stupid, whatever it was.
but yeah, because they ended up
16-2.
sweeping the Blazers in that series. They went to Portland, won both of those games.
16-2, that playoffs. But yeah, when you consider what had happened to them in the past and the frustrations of the franchise and having the best record in the MVP in '95 and then getting beat by Houston, and then the injuries that led to the Duncan lottery and all that, it was a franchise that was cursed. I think Johnny Ludden said it best on that Ring of the Row. He said, like, Sean made that shot and the Spurs didn't look back for like 2.5 decades.
That is well said.
Yeah, I mean, kind of propelled them forward to the lore that we know them have today.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, I wanted to rehash that a little bit. I love
that
talking
was
about
nice.
that history. So congrats to Sean, and I'm sure he's cracking some fine bottle of wine today, as he
I
usually
think
does.
Sean celebrates that shot like weekly, if not monthly.
Speaking of the Spurs, I want to get into a little bit of NBA free agency. So free agency begins around July, but I want to take a look forward at some of the names that are going to be surrounding the Spurs, and because they do have some money to make some moves in this offseason. Obviously, I'm going to live under the assumption that they draft Dylan Harper, and that's going to be on this as well. So this not going to forecast a big trade for Giannis or whatever. So as the team currently sits with Dylan Harper on it, as we expect to be come the end of June, these are the free agents that are out there, top 25. Myles Turner, going to be very, very expensive. But they
got money.
Yeah, but not after you signed De'Aaron Fox to a monster contract. Jonathan Kuminga, Dorian Finney-Smith, Brook Lopez, Al Horford, Malik Beasley, Naz Reid, Karis LeVert, Gary Trent Jr., who had a 42% line from three this season. Very good. Tim Hardaway Jr., Nickeil Alexander-Walker with the Wolves. Obviously, also, if I'm wrong on any of these, my sheet is not very printed out very well. So we were running out of toner. Who do you guys think, Don, I'll start with you, should the Spurs go after this offseason out of that list?
Well, I hate playing these games because those guys are so much smarter and they do this for a living. 365, and they have a crew of about 15 guys that are breaking down every salary and every position and what they need by the numbers. As a casual observer, I think we all agree they need another big and they need some three-point shooting. Mm-hmm. I don't know that free agency is the best way to go about getting that. I think the trade market, again, using the assets that you have in picks and current roster players, might be a better way of affording those guys. If you let's just say, for example, you traded Devin's $20 million salary for an equal $20 million salary versus trying to sign a Naz Reid who's going to need an extension. I love Naz Reid. I think he'd be a great Spur. But I think they definitely need a 6'11", 245-pound bruiser to go next to Wemby to help guard some of the bigger fives in the league. And they need three-point snipers. And so, again, I don't know that free agency is the way to go, but those are the needs in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of wide open on this too. I think whatever it takes at this point, because, I've said it before, and for the sake of redundancy, it's no more ping pong balls, no more lotteries. I'm over that. That was a nice, fun time. We're in the rebuild. Let's try to do everything that we can now, no matter what it looks like. And they know better than I do, and I'm sure this is all going through their head too. Now's the time to make a move, whether through the draft, whether it's through the draft and free agency, whether it's through trades. The time is now to make a leap up, any significant leap up, in my opinion.
From that list,
or whatever you think it's going to take to make the significant leap up.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you're of what they need. If they do go through free agency to get some guys, I see them making those moves like they made last year by signing CP3, some veteran that'll come in and make a mark on the team. And out of the list of guys, I think Brook Lopez checks a lot of boxes. 3-point shooting, rim protector. Yes, a little bit less, so he's 37 now, going to be 37.
Wow, I'm old.
Yeah, right. I still remember him when he couldn't make a three and he was a net. And we were just like, wow, this dude is really, really good. And then he goes and reinvents himself completely in Milwaukee. But anyway, both the Milwaukee guys I think would fit really, really well on the Spurs. Gary Trent Jr. is a really good 3-point shooter, instant offense off the bench. And Brook Lopez I think would fit really, really, really well next to Wemby and also be that bruiser, be the enforcer. He's a huge rim protector and can pop out and make a three if he needs to. So I think that would be really, really good on the Spurs.
Yeah, he's a good 3-point shooter. There's no question about it. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do. What Brian Wright told us 2 summers ago after they got Wemby, they were talking about, the scenarios. His team, they run thousands of computer models, scenarios. Are they going to trade the 2 and the 14 and this for this guy, or just the 14 and keep the 2 and get to this guy and add in to Jeremy Sohan and salaries? How does it work? And what's the guy they're targeting? Maybe they do a sign and trade for a Naz Reid. They have all these scenarios, thousands of them. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, they seem to do the right thing, the patient thing. They've built this thing the right way. I think they've missed on a couple of picks. We can nitpick and say, they could have had Jalen Williams.
He's looking pretty good.
They could have had Alperen Şengün. They missed on Josh Primo, and
jury's still out on Jeremy.
They took Devin Vassell 1 pick before Tyrese Halliburton. But had they done that, they wouldn't have Wemby. So, you can't have the revisionist history. But for the most part, I think Brian Wright and his staff have done a good job.
Do you think that that's more likely that they'll sign, the little 1 year, $10 million deal, an Al Horford type of deal, like a expiring contract, or a 1 year short-term deal for some of these guys instead of making, big moves for a Myles Turner or, any of the bigger free agents out there?
I don't know how the money works. Once they give Fox his extension, which will be the first thing they do, then
can't do that until July anyway, though, or August actually.
Yeah, but they will have planned it.
Yeah, that's going to be the first thing that they do. Like that's probably they've already put that money aside. They know that that's coming. So
that's right. That's why Chuck and I both think they keep the pick, and Dylan Harper has an opportunity to be the best player money can buy for the bargain with anybody under a rookie contract.
I'm not on the record for saying that I think they keep the pick, by the way.
Okay.
No, he wants them to trade the pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At this point, yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's obviously they're the ones in charge. It's their call. If they feel like the number 2 pick, whoever that ends up being, is a guy that you think is going to be an all-star or a above average player at this point, keep it. If you don't, go get somebody that already is an above average player or an all-star.
Yeah, and we're going to find out in just about a month what they do with that pick. Oh, I mean, maybe we'll find out sooner than a month, but the draft is 30 days away, so we'll figure that out here soon. Let's go to the quarterback rankings. So if I was to ask you guys to rank Dak Prescott, where would he fall in terms of quarterbacks in the league? Where would you put him among the 32?
I've been critical of Dak, but I would still have him in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at your list. I mean, it's
not my list.
One person's opinion. Well, the one that you have
PFF.
sort of printed.
Yeah, the one that I have
The one we
kind
can't
of
read.
Right. Yeah, the one I can't read at all.
So,
anymore.
I mean, if you look at the list, right, I think everybody would be in agreement that it's Patrick Mahomes' league, and then there's everybody else. So you can put whoever you want, 2, 3, 32, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain hierarchy of quarterbacks.
There's a definite line between 4 and 5.
Yeah, I would say
top
so.
4 are clear: Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson, and Josh Allen.
Whatever order you want to put them in, go ahead. But those are the top 4 quarterbacks in the league.
Geno Smith is 10 and Dak is 17.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Okay, so let's get to what PFF said. Pro Football Focus, Mike Florio, ranked all the starting quarterbacks and they put Dak at 17. This is what they said in the article. Prescott remains the epitome of a quarterback who thrives against weaker opponents but falters when the competition stiffens. He earned a 90 PFF grade in 2023, only behind Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, before a late season collapse ended his MVP bid. In 2024, the Cowboys stumbled early in his season-ending injury, sidelined Prescott before he could rebound. To join the top 10 conversation, rejoin the top 10 conversation, he must recapture that 2023 form and prove he can deliver against the league's best.
But I think we expect him to.
But still, you look at the rest of the list. Tell me when there's a quarterback that's better or that's not better than Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts. He's 5 on this list. You think he's better than Dak?
He won the Super Bowl.
I would take Dak over Jalen Hurts. I know
you would take Dak over Jalen.
Yes, I would.
Jaden Daniels, excuse me.
Well, I mean, it depends, right? If you need to win a ball game, or are you looking at this long term, right?
Yeah.
Obviously,
it's
Jaden
right now,
Daniels
right?
did
This
nothing.
season.
Well, then I would take Jaden Daniels based on age and what he did last year.
Okay.
Just as
Me too.
you're looking at the ceiling.
Matt Stafford or Dak?
Dak.
Yeah, Dak, because of age.
Justin Herbert or Dak?
Herbert. I love his arm.
He hadn't won a lot of ball games. I'll go with Dak, just for the sake of arguing.
Jared Goff or Dak?
Goff. They're winning a lot of games there.
Yeah, it might be a system thing, but yeah, I like Jared Goff.
I like him too, but do I like him more than what I think Dak gives his team? No, so I'll go with Dak again.
Geno Smith or Dak? That's the one I don't get.
Dak.
But, props to Geno Smith too, man, because he wasn't always that guy. The fact that he's in the conversation, I'm going to go with Dak too over this one, obviously. But, that's the one thing Cooper Rush said that stuck out last year to me was that you're allowed to get better. That's the good thing, right? And I mean, look at the career that Geno Smith has had.
Yeah.
Nobody would have seen coming 5 years ago.
I think there's only eight or nine quarterbacks you can definitively say are ahead of Dak on this list, or should be ahead of Dak on this list. There's definitely 4. I would take Jaden Daniels over him, but to put guys like Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield and C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence and Kyler Murray above him is just ludicrous. Like, Trevor Lawrence is on his 3rd coach because he sucks so far in the league.
I think CJ's got a bigger beef than Dak. What is CJ doing 14?
He didn't have a great year, but he was also flat on his back for half of it. So I mean, that's not really all on him.
You're right. That's a legitimate conversation piece too about C.J. Stroud. I mean, who wouldn't want that guy in their team? And again, you look at it's, a lot of this, it's the ultimate team sport, right? Who is around Dak? Like, if you're basing Dak on this list based off of last year, when you can make the argument they really didn't have a defined 2 or 3 at receiver, the running game was constantly in flux. I mean, there were a lot of things going on, and then the injury. So,
There's two guys that I think are very interesting to me: Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. Like, it goes to that question of, are you talking about building for the future, or are you talking about to go out and win a game? So you say, okay, maybe to win a game it is Dak. But then you think Dak had the better team in that playoff game when Green Bay came in and just whipped them. And that kid was really good. And Dak was really bad. And then when he came back the next year, he was 3-6 before he got hurt. So I think the PFF thing is fair. I think it's way too low at 17. But I do think it's fair in that he's got to reset and he's got to go out and win in order to be, at least top 10.
I think that's fair. And if you're ranking this on who had a better year last year, then put Dak lower. Because obviously he was 3-6 when he got hurt and then he tore his hamstring. Like, he didn't have a good year. That's fair. But Dak's best is better than at least 8 people that are above him on this list.
True.
So Dak, I'm taking all of these all these guys at their best. I would take Dak over Jared Goff. I would take Dak over Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Trevor Lawrence. He would be a top 10 quarterback if everyone's playing at their best, and I think that's pretty reasonable. Okay. As long as he's not above or below Tua, I think that's fair.
Tua's pretty
what
good.
about Bo Nix? He's on the way up.
Well, I was just about to say I think we can all agree that Bo Nix should be in the top 10. So, did you guys see the strike that he threw at the Colorado Rockies game? Wow. What a first pitch by Bo Nix. Thank you. Bravo. Well done. Yes. I love you, Bo. Love you. All right. Anything else, guys, for Memorial Day on the way out?
Nope. Enjoy the day if you have it off.
Birds up. UTSA baseball. Congratulations.
Yeah. Birds up. UTSA baseball getting into the regionals. So congratulations to them. Now they got a tough road through Texas.
Well, I mean, they're all good now. But this is why you play, and they've already beaten Texas once, so stranger things have happened. Let's see what happens later this week.
Let me ask you this. What's your Memorial Day? We're all working, but if we weren't and you're home cooking out, hot dogs are the thing on 4th of July, generically. Mm-hmm. What's the Memorial Day food? Is it a hamburger? Is it a hot dog? Is it a steak? Is it chicken? Is there a Memorial Day cookout food?
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever.
I throw it all. Barbecue in itself. I throw it all on the grill. To me, it's just like having barbecue food, like having something on the grill. That is Memorial Day to me.
All right.
It's not. I don't think it's a specific food at all. But in Texas, a lot of people are smoking today, or smoking their meats, and doing normal barbecue that way. Like, I know that there's a lot of ribs on the grill today. So, what about you?
Anybody's got any leftovers?
I don't know. I cooked out the other day, and
in Mexico?
No, when we got back.
Okay.
My son came over and his wife, and we cooked steaks, actually.
I love steaks.
And I went over to the place that Jason Minix is always promoting on his radio station.
Tri-County Meat Market?
Yeah. I wasn't going to do it. I didn't know if they were paying us. But got some cream cheese jalapeno poppers, bacon wrapped. Put those on the grill.
Love it.
Those were good.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. All right, well, that's all we got for you today on the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. Remember, download, rate, review, subscribe. It's a 5-star rating. Tell a friend, tell an enemy. Thank you to all the servicemen and women out there. One more time, this is your day, and hopefully you get a lot of praise for what you've done for us and for the entire country. So we'll be back on Thursday for our 200th episode of Sneakers and Cleats.
Wow.
We'll see you then.
Got cake and something?
I'll have to bring some.